I want to introduce Laura Young, who's our special guest, a climate activist and environmental scientist. So, Laura, we spoke a little bit earlier on, and you expressed some concerns about this agreement that we had sight of at 8 o'clock this morning, and there may be a few tweaks to it, yet we don't know. But what did you make of that document, if it does end up being what's agreed on?
I think it's good, but it's not enough. You know, what we have is we're taking small baby steps forward when we need to be leaping and running to fix the climate crisis that we're in. We know that it's not on track with the science. We know that it's not on track with financial targets. And although we've seen some really good things in there around coal, the kind of entry of the words of fossil fuels, it still isn't enough. And I guess I come from a background of the first COP was before I was born. So to me, I think we need to get on with it. Why are we still discussing this? Because what's happened is we've allowed ourselves to say, next year we'll do this, we'll keep pushing for more, maybe in 5 years' time. Whereas there's many people who have been inside, maybe not negotiating, but inside this blue zone saying, we can't keep doing that. We cannot keep doing it. We need to find justice for those who are at the front line of this. You know, yes, we are standing looking at some of the powerhouses economically and kind of carbon emission-wise, and people who have a lot of power. But also in that room are the countries who right now are suffering at the hands of the climate crisis. And it's important for their sake and for others who weren't here to be getting on with it. And I'm kind of persuaded, actually, that we probably are on the edge of an agreement, which is good. We can go home and have a sleep. But actually, it's not good enough in the form that it's in. And it kind of means that we all need to keep going, campaigning, lobbying, having conversations after COP as well. It means COP27 is going to be even more important. COP28 is going to be important if we don't get this right. And I think that's why I almost kind of hope this isn't a final discussion, because I wasn't happy with what we had, but maybe it is looking that way.
And over the last 2 weeks that we've been here, we've had so many young people joining us here in our little pop-up studio at the conference, expressing their frustration, saying they're not being listened to, saying this is their planet, they'll be on it longer than the likes of me, for example. Do you feel those young voices have been listened to at this COP?
No, I don't. It's interesting, when we talk about 2050 targets, I'll be younger than most of the world leaders that we've been staring at. You know, that is a real year for my life. You know, I will be still a young person, maybe not. But actually, I think that's why young people are really urgently wanting the change that we need. I think partly when you go outside, because that's where most of the young people are, and you meet them, they just want us to listen to the science. They want us to move away from fossil fuels, not in 50 years' time or 30 or 10. We want to move away now. One of the big youth movements that we've seen here in Scotland and the UK is around Stop Campbell. You know, these are the kind of things young people are wanting, and it's not what we've got out of COP26, and it's a shame that we haven't been hearing enough young people's voices in that. And young people just want this urgently. And actually, even just looking at this, it's quite a lot of faff. None of this is urgent either. You know, we could be using this time to be making better changes.